Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight. I'm Frank Morano. Thank you for listening. We've got Dr. Sky, Steve Cates, coming up in just a minute. So if you want to start queuing up with any questions you have about the president's remarks about Mars or anything else related to space, you could start doing so at 646-720-0635. That's 1-646-720-0635. But not only back on the Earth, but in New York. Yesterday, Governor Kathy Hochul unveiled her proposed $252 billion state budget. Yes, billion with a B. And I have to tell you, it's a doozy. The budget is way too much money, filled with gimmicks, and completely lacks any meaningful preparation for a rainy day. In fact, it seems more like an election campaign disguised as fiscal policy. First, let's talk about the size of this thing. Hochul's plan increases spending by 3.6% over last year's budget, bringing the total to over $250 billion. $1 trillion. That's a massive figure, especially when you consider that New York already has some of the highest taxes in the country and one of the most bloated governments. Instead of tightening the state's belt, the governor is loosing it even further, and guess who's picking up the tab? That's right, you and me. Now let's look at what's inside this budget. One of the most glaring aspects is the 5-year extension of high tax rates on the wealthy, a move that Hochul claims will stabilize the state's finances. But let's call this what it is, a political maneuver. By kicking this tax debate down the road, she's avoiding a contentious fight in 2026 when she's expected to run for re-election. And while this might help her politically, it does nothing to solve the underlying problem of New York's fiscal mismanagement. Speaking of gimmicks, this budget is packed with them. Hochul is touting a $3 billion rebate check program and expanded child care access, framing it as an affordability agenda for ordinary New Yorkers. But let's not kid ourselves. These flashy programs are designed to buy votes, plain and simple. At the same time, the budget lacks any serious contingency plans if federal funding dries up under the new Republican-led Congress, which we know is not crazy about sanctuary states. It's like building a house of cards in the middle of a storm. What's even more troubling is the lack of focus on saving for the future. New York's Medicaid spending is set to jump by 14%, reaching $35.4 billion, while the school aid spending bill will increase by nearly 5%. These are huge commitments, yet there's little to no talk about putting money aside for when the economy inevitably slows down. A responsible government plans for the long term, but this budget seems more interested in short-term political gains.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Well, if there's one thing New Yorkers are famous for, it's stepping up in a crisis. And today, I'm here to remind you that we're in the middle of two crises, and both demand our attention. First, there is a blood shortage. As you know, I'm a blood donor. Actually, I think I'm a little bit behind. I may try and give blood this weekend, maybe even Friday. Right now, New York's blood supply is running dangerously low. The New York Blood Center reports a staggering 30% drop in donations since the holidays, leaving us with only a 1 to 3 day supply of certain blood types, especially O negative and B positive. This isn't just a statistic, it's life or death. Every pint of donated blood can save up to 3 lives, whether it's a trauma victim, a surgery patient, or someone battling a chronic illness. So here's what I'm asking. Roll up your sleeve, make an appointment to donate blood, and while you're at it, bring a friend or a loved one. If you've ever wondered how you can make a real difference in someone's life, this is it. But let's pivot to another urgent issue, and one that I've been talking about for a while now. Governor Kathy Hochul's proposal to ban mobile phones in schools. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I fully endorse this plan. It is long overdue. From the first bell to the last, students need to focus on learning, not TikTok dances or Instagram likes. Cell phones in schools have become an overwhelming distraction, and the mental health pressures they bring are undeniable. Kids are competing with viral trends instead of algebra problems, and teachers are fighting a losing battle for their attention. Hochul's plan, which includes $13.5 million to help schools implement this ban, is a step in the right direction. It's a bold move that says education matters, mental health matters, and kids deserve a chance to disconnect from the digital chaos during school hours. So here's the challenge. New Yorkers show the same urgency for our students as you would for a blood emergency. Let's support measures that ensure our kids' minds are free to grow and their bodies have the resources to heal. It's time to take action, both for the health of our community and the future of our children. Donate blood, support the cell phone ban, and let's prove once again that New Yorkers rise to every challenge. By the way, if you're wondering how to make an appointment to donate blood, you can actually just call and make an appointment, and they'll tell you if there's a blood drive or what the nearest blood donation center is. You can call 800-933-2566. That's 800-933-2566.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Your snacking routine can get a little dull. Time for a Light and Fit remix. Like a crunchy storm of graham cookies, caramel pearls, and dark chocolate, showering down into a smooth, creamy yogurt. Enjoy 3 Light and Fit remix varieties with craveable flavors and up to 120 calories and 10 grams of protein per 4.5-ounce serving. See remixyogurt.com.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
What is it that Lizzo likes to say? It's about damn time? Well, that is certainly the case when it comes to Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner, one of the most dominant relievers in baseball history, is finally heading to Cooperstown. In his 10th and final year on the ballot, Wagner crossed the 75% threshold, securing his place among the legends of the game. Honestly, I don't understand what took so long. With 422 career saves, 8th all-time, and strikeout numbers that remain unmatched for any pitcher with over 900 innings, he should have been a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Yes, Wagner spent most of his career with the Astros, and he had memorable stops in Philadelphia, Boston, and Atlanta. But for me, and I imagine for many Met fans, Billy Wagner will always be a Met. He pitched some of his best seasons in Queens, notching over 100 saves with a .237 ERA in his 4 years with the team. He was electric with that blazing fastball and, yes, a certain song. Now, there's a bit of a running joke at WABC that we play Enter Sandman at the top of each hour as a tribute to Mariano Rivera. Well, truth be told, it's really more of a tribute to Billy Wagner, who also used it as his entrance theme. Don't get me wrong, Rivera is in a class of his own, but Wagner deserves every bit of recognition that he's getting now. His induction feels even sweeter because of the long wait. Starting with just 10% of the vote in his first year of eligibility, he clawed his way into Cooperstown inch by inch, save by save. It's a testament to the grit and determination that defined his career. Wagner joins a star-studded 2025 Hall of Fame class, including Ichiro Suzuki and former Yankee great CC Sabathia. I have actually a CC Sabathia bobblehead doll on my bookshelf with him dressed as a Star Wars character. It's kind of cool. Ichiro's inclusion was, of course, a no-brainer. His hitting was poetry in motion, and his cannon of an arm was something to behold. Sabathia? He earned his spot as a workhorse and a champion who carried the Yankees on his back many times. But today, my heart is with Billy Wagner. As he said, coming to New York was an adjustment for a small-town kid from Virginia. He didn't just handle the pressure, he thrived under it. And while he'll likely go into the Hall of Fame wearing an Astros cap, those of us who cheered him on from Shea Stadium seats will always see him as one of our own. Congratulations, Billy Wagner, and from all of us Met fans, thank you. You gave us some unforgettable moments. Welcome to Cooperstown. Good luck.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Plan on flying? In order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a real ID. Learn how to get your real ID today at tsa.gov/real ID or visit your local DMV.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams just sat down for a cozy 46-minute interview with Tucker Carlson, one of the most prominent conservative voices in America and a favorite of President Donald Trump. To say this was an unusual move for a Democrat, especially one running for re-election in June, is an understatement. For nearly the entire interview, Adams seemed perfectly at ease as Carlson attacked Democratic policies on immigration, congestion pricing, and more. Adams even chimed in to agree or at times stayed silent when Carlson's comments veered into territory most Democrats would find indefensible. And then there was this gem.
People often say, well, you don't sound like a Democrat. And, you seem to have left the party. No, the party left me and it left working class people.
That's right. The mayor of New York City declared on Tucker Carlson's show that the Democratic Party abandoned him. Let's call this what it is. This interview wasn't just Adams stepping out of his so-called echo chamber. This was an audition. Tucker Carlson is one of Donald Trump's loudest allies, and Adams just gave a performance tailor-made to curry favor with the MAGA crowd. Why? It's no secret. Adams is under federal indictment for bribery and campaign finance violations. And it's also no secret that Trump has floated the idea of pardoning him. In fact, during the interview, Carlson criticized the charges against Adams, calling them political retribution from the Biden administration. Adams, of course, took the opportunity to agree and paint himself as a victim. It's hard to believe this is the same Eric Adams who just a couple of years ago campaigned as a proud Democrat, promising to clean up the city and restore public safety. Now, not only is he dining with Donald Trump and cozying up to his allies, but he's also positioning himself as the perfect candidate for a pardon, or who knows? Maybe even the Republican nominee for mayor in 2025. Tucker Carlson's audience isn't exactly packed with New York City Democrats, although I think there may be more watching than you might think. And Adams knows that. This wasn't about broadening his appeal. This was about reshaping his political future. A future that seems increasingly tied to the goodwill of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Eric Adams may still have a D next to his name on the ballot, but based on his actions and rhetoric, it's fair to ask how long until he officially flips. For now, Adams is still a Democrat running for re-election. But after this interview, don't be surprised if come 2025, you see him campaigning not for Democrats, but for the other side. The question for a lot of the Republican leaders is going to be, are they going to make him switch parties, or will they give him a Wilson Pakula authorization to let him run as a Republican while remaining a registered Democrat?
Beam me up!
To be continued.